for Mike Tomlin, for all these years that he's been able to be a successful defensive coach, to be able to still do it in 2021. This is not 2010 or 2012, where defense has changed drastically. He's still shutting down some of the top offenses with his defensive schemes, and it's still continue to work in 2021. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They made it happen.
They made it happen, and, I mean, to have a double-digit second-half comeback when your offense is as limited as the Steelers' offense is wildly impressive. Now, obviously, it wasn't just the defense, the special teams. The block punt touchdown was the single biggest play of the game. So I do want to give the Steelers credit. But if you are a preseason top 3 MVP candidate, if your team has the preseason third best Super Bowl odds, and you are a 6-point favorite at home with a double up 10-0 at halftime, you can't lose that football game. And the Bills did, and they did in large part because their quarterback, which is what makes their offense go, was not good enough. Broussard, they let Josh Allen throw that ball 51 times. The reward for that was 270 yards, one really nice throw in the back of the end zone with the touchdown, and not a whole hell of a lot else. You can't get the contract he got, the expectations he has, the hype he has coming into this year, and have that type of performance and skate on it. It's not 2019 anymore where any good performance like, oh, good for you, or 2020 anymore, it's like, oh, wow, look at his next star. He's supposed to be one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football yesterday. A Super Bowl contender. This was more about them blowing a double-digit halftime lead than the Steelers having a really, really great defensive performance.
You are right, Nick, in that Buffalo and Josh Allen have to learn how to play being the hunted rather than the hunter, which is what they've been the last few years. Now people are expecting a lot from them and putting those expectations on them. But America, let me tell you this for future reference. Anyone or any team that is a threat to Pat Mahomes and Kansas City, i.e. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, i.e. the Cleveland Browns, Nick is going to be extra hard on them. Okay, he's going to go overboard in his criticism of them to put them in their place. So just be aware of that when you're deciphering through his phrases as we go through the season.
Called you out.
He did, Mike. He did. He called me out. You're absolutely right. He called me out.
It's just
He's wrong. But
talk some Kyler Murray.
My duty.
After the Cardinals rolled over the Titans yesterday, rolled over them. 5 total touchdowns from Kyler, 4 via the air, 1 on the ground. Cardinals offense just marching up and down the field. Mike, was Sunday more about Kyler's 5-touchdown day or the Titans getting just dominated?
You know, just like we gave Jameis Winston credit for throwing 5 touchdowns, we got to give Kyler Murray his credit for throwing 4 and running for 1. You know, he put the team on his back and he took them to where they needed to go. But at the end of the day, it's about Chandler Jones getting 5 sacks. The defense played tremendously, and if Kyler's going to continue to get opportunities, the defense is going to have to continue to play the way they played. And if they continue to get better, they'll be at the top of the NFC West when it's all said and done.
Wow.
Yeah, Mike, look, that's a huge statement. We know how tough that division is, but I'm with you. This is about Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. You mentioned how great the defense was. Murray was incredible. And DeAndre Hopkins, some of those plays he made, we got to give him major league credit as well, right? But the pass to Christian Kirk, and I think it was Kirk in the end zone, where he just, the timing on that couldn't have been any better. If Kyle, we might have to rethink the West, the NFC West, because all 4 of those teams look very good. San Francisco let up a little bit against Detroit. But all 4 of those teams look great this weekend, and they're going to beat up each other.
So on the Cardinals, you're absolutely right, Broussard. All 4 NFC West teams blew their opponent out. I mean, I understand San Francisco, Detroit ended close. San Francisco was up 24 with 2 minutes left in that game. They blew them out. Seattle was in total control the entire game against Indy. We just talked about the Rams dominating the Bears, and then there's this game. So I want to give Wildes credit on a Kyler point. He had been higher on Kyler than me because he said, Nick, the guy got hurt at the end of last year. That's when it went to hell for him. That's sure what it looked like yesterday. Looked like, wow, a healthy Kyler Murray with Nuke Hopkins is going to be a handful. But I actually think, Mike, this game might have been more about Tennessee. Tennessee's been knocking on the door of could they be the AFC favorite, right? Then this offseason, they spend some money on the defense. They bring in Julio Jones. The defense is as bad as ever, at least looked as bad as ever. Taylor Lewan, who's supposed to be an excellent left tackle, I know he took ownership of it, but he gets just beat up by Chandler Jones. They never get to send him help, but you can't double team him. You don't want to double team him at 3 sacks or whatever, 4 sacks. I guess they started at 5 sacks. And maybe most concerning, Mike, Derrick Henry didn't look, I don't want to say he didn't look right. He just never got going, and he is the engine that makes that offense go. The Titans are supposed to be the overwhelming favorite in the AFC South, and they got just other than Atlanta, I'm not sure there was any team that looked worse than them this week. So for me, Mike, the Titans fans have to be at least moderately concerned this morning.
Absolutely, and I was concerned that the Arizona Cardinals yards a quarter. So if they can't run the ball effectively, Brian Tannehill is not going to be Tannehill. He's not going to be himself. He's not going to look like he did in the past, and their offense won't look the same. So they got to find a way to fix that if they're going to compete in that division.
That's right.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Talk some Green Bay Packers. It was a tumultuous offseason for Aaron Rodgers, but can you pin yesterday's performance on that? We'll have that for you next. Mike Vick, as always,